Today on the channel, I'm going to show you how to play the tapping part to Spanish Fly by Van Halen. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at Spanish Fly. We're going to do the tapping part. I wanted to show the tapping part to Spanish Fly because a lot of you asked me questions about tapping and sounding like Eddie in the tapping part of your playing and learning how to do that. And this is a great little etude or exercise to learn if you want to learn how to tap, some basic fundamentals. If you want to know some of the theory around how Eddie tapped and made his tapping sound the way that it did, this will also be a good lesson for you. It's also a great exercise to build up hand strength in your left hand, and also stretching, because the stretching in Spanish Fly is crazy. It sounded like on the record he did it on a classical guitar, so the spacing on a classical guitar is a lot shorter scale, and I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie didn't capo it up a little bit so he played it even closer, because the stretch on this is really brutal. If your hand starts to hurt while doing this, take a break, come back later, and I assure you you'll get better at it. It'll get easier. So without any further ado, let's begin. I'm going to play this for you, and then I'll demonstrate it, and I'm going to give you some theory behind how it works and why it works the way that it does. So when you create your own tapping exercises, or when you're trying to figure out tapping parts, you can kind of use these fundamental skills to get there. Okay, so let me show you this. I'm gonna tip my hat to the Live Without a Net version of Spanish Fly. If you haven't watched Live Without a Net, you owe it to yourself. I'm sure most of you have, probably all of you watching this, but Eddie does a really cool rendition of this on Live Without a Net, and he extends it out a little bit more. But so I'm going to show you basically where this tapping starts, and then I'm going to break down the fundamentals. Okay, so hopefully I'll get this right, and here we go. All right, cool. Hey, I got it. No edits. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right, the main thing you got to know about this is I think the main thing is the geometrical shape that we're tapping. This whole thing is based off of the same geometrical shape, and he slides it chromatically. He winds up playing a major chord. He puts a flat fifth in it. He descends down to a sus4, and then he makes it a major chord again in the next key down from that. So what we're doing is we're going to take, there's going to be 3 frets between the pointer finger and the pinky, like this. There's your stretch, that's a killer. And then there's going to be 2 frets between the pinky and your other pointer finger, so that shape looks like this, okay? And I'm already feeling it, okay? So I don't tap all the time. I used to when I was a young boy, a whippersnapper, and I was much better at it. But anyway, I'm feeling the pain. So what we're doing on this tapping exercise is we're going to be on the G string. I'm going to show you the very first part of this, okay? The G string on the 5th fret, then we're going to be on the G string on the 9th fret, and then the G string on the 12th, okay? A lot of G string action going on in this room tonight. All right, so having said that, what we're going to do is make this pattern. It's do mi so. It's a major chord. This is a C major chord. Why is this a C major chord? Because that's a C, all right? Like, that's a C. And then a major third up above that is this E. A little out of tune. But anyway, C, E, then G. So C, E, G makes our C major trident. And then when you tap, what Eddie does is there's a lot of different things, but taking I don't know why I'm playing this with a pick, because I'm not really going to play a song after this, but Eddie would put his pick between his middle finger and the palm of his hand like this, and then that frees him up. So later on, when you're ready to rip, you got your pick, then you just, like a magician, put it back like that, okay? So you got your pick here, and that automatically puts your hand kind of in this position where you can rest your hand on the frets. And you do this a lot of times at high volume, lots of gain, and you don't want any extraneous string noise. So when you put your finger here, and one thing I don't hear really spoken about much is use your forearm. Your forearm, when you're tapping in certain areas of the fretboard, my forearm rests on the low E string. It rests on the A string, and you can use that to mute your strings too, right? So that's not the main component to this, but it's part of it that I noticed. So I've got my arm kind of on the strings, and we really just want this G string to be open. So I'm kind of keeping my palm on the strings a little bit, my arm, this hand, kind of these fingers are sort of providing, muting once in a while. Mostly right now, I think it's forearm, and this finger here is kind of muting the high B and the E string from doing anything weird. And then when you want to do a tap like this, you're going to take your pointer finger and you're gonna just pull and let go. And what that does is it sounds this note here, and then you're going to hammer on with your pinky, and then hammer on with this. Okay, so, and then you're gonna kind of pluck off of that string just ever so lightly. You're really just letting go of the string, but you're sort of pulling on it just a little bit. So it gives that string momentum. So it'll sound this note. You want to practice this more basic, you can take one hand and go. Switch around. Okay, so that's something fun you can do. What I'm doing here is okay, so we bring that up to speed. Eddie liked to speed up and slow down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this finger down 1 fret to the 11th. So we went from this to this. Now we're going to take this shape and bring the pointer finger down. We're moving this down. We're chromatically moving this C chord down to a B sus4. Now this is the sus4, this pinky, and we're going to bring it down. Now take a look. We've got this 1, 3 frets, pinky, 2 frets, pointer finger again. But we're exactly half a step from where we started. We went from here to here, and the way we did it is we started like this, then we went like this shape, and then we went that shape, and then we brought it down to this shape. Okay? So essentially what we did is we took a C chord like this, and then we lowered that 5th down to, then we played a B sus4. That's that whole tapping part. Very classical, okay? So we went, and then the next thing that we're gonna do is like this. This gets a little bit tricky, right? So the next thing we're gonna do is go. We gotta lead up to it. I'm gonna show you that here in just a second, but this is the next part. So we went, and then Eddie's gonna start on this. basically we're going from this shape down to this shape. We're going to move it to here, and then it's going to end up here. So we wind up moving this whole position down three times from where it starts. So there's 1, and then 2, 3, 4. Okay? And it ends on that A. The tricky thing in this transition is like this. I'll show you what Eddie does. So we're going to start. So what he did there, he leads into it by going. So he takes this shape that we're familiar with, and he starts on the A string, and then he goes to the D string, and then we're back up on the G string again. So he kind of like, he ramps into it. It's sort of like he swoops into it. So once again, we start off. So slow motion. We lead in. You just kind of have to go for it. I mean, Eddie wasn't super precise. It's more about the attitude and the vibe. So we're on the 3, the 7, and the 10. And then we wind up on the G string on the 3, 7, and 10. Bring that 5th down. All right. So what he wound up doing was going. It's pretty cool. So once we get past that, we're gonna bring it back up here. Remember the first phrase started up on the G string on the 5 and the 9 and the 12. Well, now we're gonna be the same frets, but we're gonna be on the D string, right? And it's gonna start up here going. Bring that down. Bring this pointer finger down. Go to the A string. And then just go down chromatically. So we're going to go like this. On the A string, 5, 9, 12. Drop the 5th. Pointer finger down. Pinky down. We wind up on the 2nd, the 6th, and the 9. This is a killer, man. So do that a few times. Now we're going to kick it up a notch and go open A. So that's going to be an up and a down arpeggio. So we're going to open it up to open A, which we're going to pluck off of this 9th fret, and then open A, hammer on B. This is the stretch that's a killer. So it's 2, 6, 9 with an open A, and then go back down. Then G, F sharp, E minor, or E. And we're going to take this E sus4 chord. So that's basically just going like an E minor, but put the pinky here on the 2nd fret on the G string. And we're going to tap 12 frets above these notes. Alright, so it's 12, 14, 14, 14, 12, 12. Alright, so let's take this from the beginning slowly. I'm going to show you, and Watch how the patterns change. Now watch this. Starting on the A, go up to the D. I went from the low E to the A to ramp in. Awesome. I know this was kind of a quick little lesson on tapping. I hope that it helped, hope that it was understandable, and that it brings you success. Please consider subscribing if you like this kind of content, and comment below. And as always, have yourself a great day. Thanks, and peace out.